Okay guys, I'm going to show you how to set up a traditional flint and steel fire making kit. If you buy all the accessories separate. Now I'm also doing a review on this really cheap flint and steel striker, 1090 carbon steel, and I've tried it already a little bit and it works okay. It will start a fire, but it kind of has an issue fitting into a tin. You will need to buy one of these either on Pathfinder or Self-Reliance, or you can buy these on Walmart. I recommend to get you a better one, so go on to Self-Reliance, website and get you one. You will need a bundle of either linen twine or jute twine. We have the jute twine, a nice piece of choice flint, and here is my other one in comparison. This is the esse flint and steel kit from esse, and we're going to show you how to use this once it's done. This is how it should look right here. With any tin, you could use an Altoids tin. You should have a piece of flint and some jute twine and some charred cloth in the bottom. If you guys don't have any charred cloth, you can do it yourself by taking a separate tin, putting a hole in the top of it, and when you make your first campfire, you can take an old dish rag that's 100% cotton or some punk wood and put it in here, and or some cotton cordage, like really thick cordage, in order to do this, and put a hole at the top which is called a weeping hole. Set it on top of the fire and it will blow out a white flame. Until the white flame goes away, you know your char cloth is done. Take it off the fire, set it to the side, and let it sit for, I don't know, about 50 to 20 minutes. 20 to 50 minutes before you open it, because if you open it as soon as you take it off the fire, all that carbonation will catch the cloth back on fire and get embers, and you'll lose your charred cloth. Hey, the first step you might want to do when you're making a flint and steel fire is to find dry tree limbs on a tree that's up high. Don't look for a tree that's low to the ground, that's been sitting on the ground and getting moisture in it, because if you source these little twigs, you want little twigs from a tree high up away from the ground in order to get your small sticks going. You want a lot of it, you want a big pile of it, and then you pick up bigger pieces of sticks like this length, and then the big would be like this length on this maple tree. You put the smalls on it first, and then the medium-sized limbs, and then you can go to the bigger stuff all the way to some bigger logs. If you're going to source like thicker wood to baton, or maybe split to get to the dry wood in the center of the moist wood, to lay on that fire once you get it going, and it should get roaring and going fast after you do this. So you want to get these smalls first, then the next to big, like medium to next to big, and then, you know, cut with a saw to cut bigger pieces of wood, and then split it up in little pieces in order to do this. After you cut the jute twine and process the jute twine up, after you use the flint and steel on the charred material to blow it to flame. Okay, now that we got all that out of the way, now we want to make our flint and steel fire kit. You want an Altoids tin. Altoids tins work just fine for this. You want to open it up, and then you open up another tin here with some charred material, charred punk wood. You could use charred mushrooms. You could use charred amadou conch mushrooms. Use amadou itself, and then just place a few pieces in here. You don't really need much, because you're going to reuse this tin to make more charred material in the field, either smothering it or putting a hole in it for weeping, for the weeping hole, to make more charred cloth or whatnot in it. Put a few small pieces in there, because a little bit of this stuff goes a long way when you're making a fire. And then you add your flint and steel to the kit afterwards. Lay it down in there. Put your jute twine in here as well. With one piece of flint, you don't need more than one. Close it up and put a ranger band around it, and that's how you set up a flint and steel kit for wilderness survival, or just camping, or most outdoors use as a traditional fire. You could also add a a small magnification lens to this. I'm gonna give this one to a friend of mine, so it's gonna go out to her, but we're gonna test it out. This is actually one of the cheapest flint and steels I ever bought and ever seen. It was like 12 bucks, but it does work. Show you how to use it. Okay guys, first you're gonna need a knife. If you got a knife on your hip, you can take it out. This is just for demonstration purposes. Now you want to open up your kit, take out some of the jute twine first. Make sure you got it in a nice knot. You really don't need a lot of this for it to work. About maybe that much might work, because this is cordage. This isn't jute twine. This is actually thicker, so you can pretty much cut just a little bit of this off, and this stuff goes a long way, guys. Cut it off like that, get your length to size, take it apart, and all the strands that you can, pull it apart like this. You can use linen twine, you can use jute twine. This is just the accelerant. This is like sort of the bird's nest style. So you can get it going once you basically get the ember on the charred punkwood, and you get your smalls, set your small stuff to the side, to the next biggest small, to the next biggest small type of wood out there, and just gonna pull it apart like this, and try to, you know, pull the strands out as much as you can. You want to expose as much of the fibers as you can. Well, this is the easy method. You could use tree bark like yucca leaves, and you could also use of course there's some cats over there fighting. Don't mind the cats, guys. Like I said, this is a little bit of a tedious process, but it's really fun. Now you can stick it in your hand, rub it together, and do that with tree bark as well, grasses. Once you run out of jute twine, you have to use yucca leaves. You can use agave, dried leaves, dog's bane, all that stuff too. Okay, I think that's good enough. Now you take a stone out of the kit, any type of flint or chert that you can find. This is the Canala chert I use in my area for flint and steel. And take your flint and steel kit out, take your striker out of your steel kit, flint and steel kit, and there's different methods you could do this. You could lay this charred material on the ground on a dry piece of leaf or something and strike downwards in order to get a spark into the material. That is the old method, the ancient method that they used in the Roman times. Or you could put it in the opposite hand and strike it like this to get sparks. You can see this thing showers sparks, and that's what it does. Now we're gonna get the piece of this charred cloth. You could use charred punkwood. A little bit goes a long way, guys. And once you do that, you find the ridge of the stone that's facing up corner. You can't do it while it's down, because if it's down, it won't work right. It won't bounce the spark in there. Lay your charred material like this on here, just on the very edge. I don't know if you can see that, but on the very edge, and there you go, one strike. I don't know if you can see the ember on it. There you go. It took one strike, guys. Place it in the tinder bundle like so, and there you go, flame. Once you get that flame going, start adding the small pieces of wood to it first, the twigs that you find in the air. And you could use more jute twine for this if you wanted to. Once you add the smalls to the fire, you add the medium-sized sticks, Then you add the next to big medium-sized sticks to the top of this fire and get it going and keep blowing on it until it gets to flame. And once you're done doing that, you got yourself a roaring fire with flint and steel. And on this $12 flint and steel striker, man, it works. So I'll leave a link in the comments for well, not pinned, I'll just leave a link in the comments for the cheapest flint and steel striker on Walmart. Yeah, it works. It's a bit of okay, guys. It doesn't work as maybe as good as my my handmade one or my esse one, but I like the fact that it has nice rounded edges. So when you do strike it, try to flip it over every once in a while, strike it on another side. That way, whenever you strike it on a stone, it eats off little flakes of the carbon steel to bounce the sparks off. So if you're going to use one side up, you could use the other side up and then start using the middle to strike and to get a fire going with it. It's fairly easy to get a fire going with these things. You don't necessarily have to use the jute twine as a tinder bundle. You could use a big giant grass tinder bundle or a tulip poplar tinder bundle that you work with your hands and get it all crumpled up grass. You can stick that tulip poplar inside that grass bird's nest, pull it around, stick that charred material in the middle of it and blow it to flame. Throw it down where you're going to make a fire, throw all your smalls on it, your next the biggest, and then the bigger pieces of wood on top of it, and you'll get your fire going real quick. And I do recommend this one, and it's actually a bit of okay. That is the cheapest flint and steel kit, and that's how you use a flint and steel kit and set one up for the field so you guys can use it for camping or survival. Ultimate survival fire starter, guys. But it's revamped and it's new and it works great, guys. Go ahead and I'll leave the link in the comments. You guys can go find this flint and steel striker. I recommend it. It works. And I will be sending it out to my friend. Okay, guys, hope you all like this video on how to set up your flint and steel kits and how to use them properly to get a fire going every single time. You guys take it easy. It's your old pal Hondo from Hillbilly Tactical. You put God first, he puts you first every time. And you know what else, YouTube? God loves you, so does Hondo. Peace out, YouTube.